Good morning, small players. Welcome to yet another episode of Pre-Market Scanning. This is where we go over the results on our pre-market scanner and analyze the stocks that the scanner has picked up for support and resistance levels. We use the support and resistance levels to determine entries, exits for profit, and exits for a loss. This morning, we have quite a few stocks on scanner. The first one being PROG, which is a stock that we've been trading quite a lot over the past couple of months. It was on scanner yesterday. We traded it yesterday pretty much the entire day. I'm just going to clear all the old drawings. And then it's gapping up once again today, so the scanner is picking it up again today. This stock had pretty big news, I want to say at this point 2 months ago when I first started being picked up on scanner, and it has been going strong since. And some people, when they see something like that, they're like, why don't we just hold it overnight instead of trading it every day? Wouldn't that be easier? And the truth of the matter is, every now and then you do get these unicorns, these small cap stocks that actually have a valid story and end up becoming a success story and end up doubling, tripling, quadrupling. However, the majority of the stocks we trade are very, all these small caps are very bad companies with no revenue, which eventually are going to disappear, get delisted, go bankrupt, etc. And the majority of the time, they pretty much are pumping and dumping on some random news that gets put out. Their floats are very low. That's why we target them. So it's very easy for them to squeeze out 400% on some stupid piece of news because there's just not a lot of outstanding shares available. So whenever anyone buys a little bit because an exciting piece of news came out, it's so easy for it to explode. Even though the news is not that big or that significant. So yeah, the vast majority of them are not going to succeed, and just holding them overnight hoping that you get lucky in one is really not a strategy that I subscribe to, because I always remind people that there are 7,000 stocks out there, and if you think, well, if I can just throw money at something, even if it's a little bit, and make it big, think about how much money you need to even put $10 in each one of the 7,000 stocks, right? So even if one makes it big, you're going to be at a loss because there's so many others, right, that you threw a little money in. I hate when people say that I'm going to throw money at something. If you want to throw money, just give it to me. I'll watch. I'll keep it for you. I'll do a better job at it. I won't throw it. You know. So anyway, PROG, I drew this because it was forming a 5-minute flag just to see if we get a flag break. This is a flag break, and it's reacting to it positively. This candle was also a flag break, so just something to note. It already had a fake flag break, which is why I would be hesitant on this one. Even though it seems like it had a nice resolution, there's not quite increase in volume. It already had one fake out, so it seems like it's working, but you wouldn't have known that ahead of time, and I probably would have been too scared to enter because it had this one fake out. A flag break is pretty much, and I have a whole video about this. If you look at it, look it up under this channel. It's called How to Trade Gappers and Gap Ups. Basically, we trade them by the first 5-minute or the first 1-minute candle to make a new high. 5-minute is obviously a longer trend, so normally a bigger resolution. So the high of this candle is 588. This candle broke above 589. That's a flag break, right? But no increase in volume, ended up being a fake out. Then made lower highs, lower highs. The high of this candle is 581. 582 is a flag break. Once it made high 582, it's still squeezing up. And yeah, this is probably 5.9, probably gonna cause a little bit of a wall. So if it reverses fully here, drops down to VWAP, we can trade a VWAP bounce. And then break above this level is probably squeeze potential. Break above 6. CEI, another stock that's been on scanner quite a lot. So 124 obviously was a big wall. Once it broke above it, started squeezing. If it ever goes down to test it, that would be a bounce trade. I want to overcrowd the chart because it has a lot of resistances, but this you can also trade a bounce here, which is almost VWAP. That would be a nice trade as well. And then it is potentially forming a 5-minute flag, so whenever it fills it out and breaks it, that's a trade too. This is not on scanner today. I just want to see what it's doing. I'm going to keep it on the watch list. This stock has been moving quite a lot also. It's been very nice to us. The reason why it's not on scanner right now is because it literally retraced the whole move, so gapped up and then took it all back. But it has enough volume on the day. And I definitely want to pay attention to it. It's been a big mover. Well, actually, this candle here is a pretty big rejection. This one also, we actually traded a little bit this morning. That's where there's lines on it. It's forming a 5-minute flag also. If this one breaks above VWAP, it could get interesting. Until then, not really interested. So looks like it just got some news. Yeah, at 8:30. This is a 5-minute flag break, which is doing right now. Break above 181. Not seeing a lot of volume accompanying the move, but that's a flag break. Normally the volume is the confirmation we wait for to make sure we don't get stuck in a fake out, especially on those news moves because they're normally very short-lived. If this one recovers, it'll be interesting because it has a lot of room to higher day, but I wouldn't trade it until it breaks above VWAP, and if it doesn't, then we don't pay attention to it. That's another thing that I often talk about in the mornings, and I apologize if you are an avid listener and are bored of it, but it's just very important. The reason why we go through the trouble to do all of this analysis is to determine areas where the stock will show us that it has a bullish or bearish momentum, right? So on this one, the reason why we say, okay, if it breaks above this level, we'll trade it is because if it gets enough buyers to break above VWAP, then it has a potential to squeeze out all the short sellers that have been shorting it all morning and could have a violent move towards higher day. So we want that. But if it doesn't, short sellers, and this is something that I hear a lot of the Wall Street Bets kids say, they have to cover at some point. No, they don't have to cover. It's like you having to sell your position. You don't have to sell your position. You can wait forever if you wanted to. If the stock is down, they don't have to cover. Buyers need to come in first to squeeze them out, right? So you don't buy here saying, oh, I'm just going to get it for cheaper and wait, because it could drop to $1. It could drop to 50 cents. Nothing about the stock right now is telling you that you need to buy it. It's so bearish, right? So this is not long-term investing for you to say, oh my God, I'm just going to buy it now, and then when it gets here, I'm going to make a lot of money, because nothing about the stock is telling you that it's ever going to get back up there. But if it breaks above this level, that's a different story. That shows us the bullish momentum, and that makes us say, okay, let me trade this. Very important. You need a trigger. I like this chart. We traded the stock yesterday. Excuse me. The volume's still light on the day, but if volume picks up, I would definitely be interested in it. Okay, you guys, my throat is starting to bother more. So I'm going to close out this, and I will see you in the chat room. Have a trading.